What's up, guys? Welcome back. Welcome back to the Bianconator Zone. Welcome back to the channel for another daily news video. On this, I want to say Wednesday. It's Tuesday. On this Tuesday, it's almost July. Like a good 10, 11 days before July. And I want to say nothing has happened, but like still, no real things have happened for us. When maybe we thought something would have been moved by now. Maybe a Vlahovic thing, and that is actually gone really, really quiet. I don't think it's gonna be quiet for long, but it's been really quiet surrounding him. The last, I would say, like 14 days. It's gone done, like nothing, not even like a crappy report from Tuttosport or whatever you want to call it. But excuse me, but there is some news, and maybe not the news people were hoping for, because it looks like we knew that, but we're really scrambling to get some sort of deals done at this moment in time, because we need to be very creative again. So we'll go over that as well. But before we do that, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification, and let's go. Okay, so the first bit of news, is we're linked to Malcom. I think everybody remembers Malcom. When I say remember, I mean when he was joining Roma, was on the plane and turned the plane around, or never showed up, and signed for Barcelona. I think everybody remembers that, and then he completely flopped, went to Zenit, and I'm not gonna lie, up to today, up to this report, I didn't even knew he was playing anymore. I didn't even know he was playing at Zenit anymore, because it's been really quiet, and usually, you get some call-ups for the Brazilian national team, but he didn't. He didn't even, get that, basically. And is it a good report? Not really. I don't think that it's one of the best sources out there. But even if it was, I don't believe it. But I'm gonna read it out. He said, Malcom has entered Juve sites. In Juve sites, the club have already made initial contacts and are working to formalize an official proposal. He's valued between 30 and 40 million. I looked up his numbers, and I think he scored like 26 goals last season for Zenit, and like 8 assists, which is good. You can say the Russian league, whatever. In the Russian league, we want players from maybe leagues that are worse or whatever. But we're not going to do that. We're not going to pay 30, 40 million to sign Malcom from Zenit. That's not going to happen. It's... I was going to say it's a fun report, but I don't even know it's a fun report. Like, we need real reports now, or like we need real targets, especially in that position, because we've been actually linked with nobody. Nobody has been linked with replacing Di Maria, and probably Sule was gonna leave as well on loan. So I don't think it's gonna be Malcom, but it's out there from Brazilian reports suggesting that we already made contacts, and that he's valued at a lot of money. Money we are not gonna pay at this moment in time. So that's that. Let's get that over with. I don't think it's a real news. The real news is the Galatasaray connection, because that was kind of dominating yesterday evening and today. Meeting with Galatasaray to talk about 1,000 players, basically. From Zakaria to McKennie, excuse me, to Arthur, to Keane, to Zaniolo. Somebody mentioned Icardi, and then this Sasha Bui and Victor Nelson. This is from Mirko Di Natale, saying, with Galatasaray as well as inquiring about Sasha Bui, you have also asked about Victor Nelson. He could be part of the negotiation that the clubs could establish, given that they are interested in Arthur, Sandro, and McKennie. I forgot Sandro. I think Nico Shira mentioned as well Icardi. And Zaniolo has been mentioned like basically all summer now. Now, this feels like it's gonna happen. Like, there's gonna be some mega deal with Galatasaray, money plus players, whatever. That feels like it's gonna happen. Now, for Bui, Arsenal's still kind of leading the race, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be very honest. Him and Victor Nelson, I've watched them play a total of 0 minutes, unless it's by mistake, and I cannot mistake and like without knowing it, and I've watched it. Other than that, I've not. So I can not say anything about him. Nothing. They're relatively young. Right back, center back. Bui is more of a defensive, like he's better defensively than going forward. Going off what I've read, not watched him. Um, Nelson is regarded kind of not highly, but like interesting as a prospect. When I say prospect, I think he's 24, so it's not a prospect anymore. Like it's you need to show up already. Like Gatti. He had his season. Now it's time to show up big time. Otherwise, it's already getting kind of sticky to establish yourself as a first team starter. For the next I don't know how many years. So I've not watched him play. So if anyone in the comments has, let me know, because I can only go off what I've read. And I've read good things about them, and I cannot say do it because of based on what I've read. So I can also not say do not do it because I've not watched him play. I do like that we have options, or we're looking at options. We're not looking at the traditional names, and for certain position, because Saniolo is a traditional name. I do like that. I really do. They're relatively young, so they fit what the club should be doing. Um, but I don't know much about them. The other part is, getting Arthur, Sandro, McKennie, Zakaria, and people. You might like Zakaria. Allegri doesn't, so it's gonna be a player he's not gonna use, and that's an issue. If we can get those players moved on, that's already a big step forward, because they need to be moved on. Some way. If it's to Galatasaray, if it's to Saudi, as somebody reported, if it's to Lazio, Spain, I don't know, back to the Premier League, we need to move them on, and hopefully on a permanent deal. And that's why I'm very skeptical about these Galatasaray talks, because they're a club, they want the money. They don't pay big transfer fees. Excuse me. They usually go for very unknown or over the hill players. And with over the hill players, I mean like a Mertens, and you get him on a free, or you get Icardi relatively cheap. Like these type of deals, that's what they do, and that's why I'm scared about. Yes, you can move them on, but what type of money are you getting in? What type of money are you gonna pay to get those players in? That's the big question. I don't want Zaniolo. I make that abundantly clear. I don't like Zaniolo, and he can come, and I hope he will prove me wrong. Excuse me, not right. But I don't rate him one bit anymore. The last 2.5 seasons, he hasn't shown anything worth being hyped about or being excited about. He just hasn't. So I don't want that. But he's part of the conversations. That's very obvious. He's one of the main quote unquote targets. So let's see how that will develop. I will be live later today, and Di Marzio will speak. So let's see if has any developments. And you can go off, Di Marzio's not good. But he's the only one at this moment in time sticking his neck on the line, because other than that, you're not getting any news. You're not going to get any sort of type of news at this moment in time. So you need to go with it. And it has been reported by even other journalists as well, and even Italian journalists. So let's see how that will develop. But very strange, very strange, these talks about so many players being included. We might end up getting Zaniolo, and all of them will be shipped out, terminate contracts and whatever, and we can come out of it looking like all that hype build up for this. That's a feeling I'm having at this moment in time. But let's see. Again, it's relatively I want to say early, but within a month, like less than a month, our preseason is starting. We're back in training, or the players are back in training. Like in a good 4 to 5 weeks, they're back in training. Not even. I'm gonna say 4 weeks. They're back in training. That's crazy, and nothing has changed so far. So insane. But let's see how that will go. Let's wrap this video up with Bonucci. According to Tutto Sport, he wants to play regularly, and he's probably not gonna get that. So he's thinking about leaving. There were talks about Marseille. That has been denied, which makes a lot of sense that they're not going to sign Bonucci. But it's time to go, It's been a good run for a while, and then after he joined Milan, it just went downhill really quickly. In my opinion, like it was never the same. It wasn't good, and the last 2 years, like forget about last year. The previous years were already a significant drop in level. I'm not gonna count last year because he was uh, injured a lot of the times, and that's my biggest point. Like you're not gonna have an impact if not a negative impact. So just do your thing and leave, man. Go to the MLS. I don't know. Just enjoy your life and free up that fee and free up a spot for somebody else to step in finally because we need to do it. We really need to do it. And Bonucci is not the answer. I said last season it's time to move on from Chiellini. Not because I don't think he was good enough, but he was not always available. He was still good when he played. But you need to move on. At some point, you need to just say enough is enough. If you're a big team and you want to move on and you want to keep developing and you want to keep holding on to a high standard, you need to make these decisions in the best case scenario at the right moment in time. In the worst case scenario, a year too early. The moment you are in a year too late, you're already in big trouble. That's just how I see it. But do I think he's gonna leave? No. To be honest, no. I think he's gonna stay even for last season. But again, you never know. That can also change really, really quickly. So let's see how that will develop. That's it for this daily news video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification, and I will see you guys in a couple hours, or even later on if you're just gonna rewatch live. But yeah, see ya. Ciao.